Hey everybody, welcome to Camel City Chat. I am John McPherson, and I am here with Bowman Gray the 20th.
Right.
No, the 4th?
21st.
The 21st is the 4th.
Yes.
And we've got some stories for you today. And I'm really excited to have Bo on because we have not seen each other in, what'd you tell me?
Well, was it 1987?
1986, 87, yeah.
So 33 years?
Because, well, yeah, in May of 87, I did go to the prom. I came back, I think, to go to the prom. Or did I do that? I don't remember.
Neither do I, and I was there.
I don't either. But Bo, as he is affectionately known by everybody, is you've been here for a year or two.
Back in Winston-Salem since 2005.
Yeah, but you were born here back in, and I know this because you're younger than me, 69.
Correct.
Right?
Yep,
And the things that I like about you, Bo, are, and I have to ask this, but we got to ask the first four questions.
Sure.
I mean, the first three questions first, but just remember the madhouse. Okay, we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
So, where are you from, and how long you been here?
Well, Winston-Salem, and personally since I was born, but the family, Robert Gray moved here in 1848.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you've lived some overseas.
Lived in Paris, lived in Pennsylvania, lived in Connecticut, lived in
So we
Minnesota.
crossed. We actually almost crossed by, and we probably did in Pennsylvania. I ain't lived in Paris, I ain't like that. I mean, I drink my drinks like this. I don't get to put my pinky out when I have my tea. So the next question is, what's your favorite place to eat?
Oh, that's a great question. The cool part is there's a lot to choose from around here now.
Yeah.
I have to say I've eaten my way into a blackout a few times at Mission Pizza.
Good food.
But sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
I have been known to call up Miss Orr's fried chicken and get enough for two and keep it for myself.
Yeah. Mayway.
Mayway. Actually, my office is right up here in the village, and I'll go down there and I like their soups.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic.
They cure everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'll sneak in here and won't tell my wife. I'll come get a bubble tea. Because I like the tapioca pearls, and my daughter's like, you didn't bring me any, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, I had one for you, but it didn't make it home.
All right. Yep. And a silo's out right now, but somebody else will be coming in there.
I think so. I talked to Ken, and he said he thinks you have somebody coming in. I do miss Silo. Their chicken sandwich was not to be believed.
All right.
And of course, the Cuban was pretty dang good too.
But I mean, you remember in high school we went down underneath to the Italian restaurant. Was it La Chaudière?
Oh, Chaudière, yeah,
man.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. I'd forgotten about that.
Was that French?
Place.
I don't know.
It was good.
It was date.
Yeah.
You brought a date here.
Yep.
All right. So then, what's your favorite thing to do in and around Winston-Salem and the Triad? And I know it probably involves, but
obviously, Reynolda Village is pretty fantastic, and the gardens and Reynolda House are pretty great it's great fodder for the camera. Wandering around Old Salem is really terrific. When things are normal, one of my favorite things is the gallery hop.
Right.
Or I call it the gallery crawl.
Yeah.
And watching the kids play in the street.
Oh my gosh, you get there's such beautiful chalk work done. I mean, like my daughter will get out there and draw and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And the bands.
No, I love the whole downtown scene is just spectacular, and it's been wonderful to watch that evolve.
And you have two. How old are your kids? You have two.
I do. Two young children. One who is 33, the other is 21.
All right. And then you just had a grandbaby.
I did. Odin. He turns 1 on the 29th.
So I'm 5 years away from you with my first child, and you're already have your grandchild.
Well, we are excited about life. Want to get to it. You know. Yeah. And we have a lot of space.
It's finding the right person too.
That's true. And we do have about 10 years plus between our two children. We weren't sure what caused the first one. Yeah. And then we figured it out, and we said that's enough of that. So.
Yeah. So I completely understand that. All right, so I got to ask the question: do you get in free to the madhouse when you walk up and just like say I'm Bowman Gray? I mean, it was named after you, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the hospital named after you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
how
they
in
knew
the
I was
heck do
coming.
you get your the hospital named after what? Which great? What?
It was after everything was named for a great grandfather.
Okay.
And in both cases, it was done posthumously.
Right. Because he passed what in the 30s?
35.
Okay. Yeah.
Correct. He was on a cruise ship and had a heart attack.
Oh,
but what happened with the hospital? There was obviously a movement by the Reynolds and a few others to bring Wake Forest here, and they wanted to bring the medical school here. and there was some shares of R.J. Reynolds left in a family foundation, and my grandfather, my great-uncle Gordon, and my great-great-uncle James Gray got together with my then great-grandmother Natalie and told Dr. Kitchen that they could have it in its entirety if they would bring the medical school here.
Okay.
So they named it for him, and then the stadium was a bit of a different story. It was part of a WPA, public works project coming out of the Great Depression, and they were going to borrow the money to build it, and my great grandmother just seeded it, the project with a donation, and they named it in his memory as well.
Yeah. So I have at my house in the cave. Someone found me some old Appalachian programs, and I didn't know Appalachian also played here because Wake played.
Football. Sure.
Wake played football at the Madhouse. App played football at the Madhouse, and of course Winston-Salem State plays there now. But I mean, a lot of it was a venue that was akin to what the bigger venues around the state now when it was built.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But no, to answer your question, no, I don't get in for free, and and I wouldn't ask. That's.
I know. I'm picking with you. I mean, like I said, we've known each other since. I need to ask this question: where'd you go to high school?
Well, I finished at Bishop McGinnis.
That's all that matters, man. We're done.
Yeah, so I'm a
the
villain.
finest school.
I'm a villain. And,
I'm a villain too.
You were the villain, actually.
Somewhat.
Do they know that?
No, I don't think so. Stabler does not know that there is pictures out there of me in the villain costume.
That's right. John was the mascot.
Yep. Varsity letterman in cheerleading as a mascot.
That's right.
Yeah. That's something you put on your resume.
Right. There's and the stories you can tell about the basketball games.
Yeah. The only male cheerleader.
Right.
Yeah. Varsity letterman.
Right. A lot of fun. But no, I started my high school career briefly at the Macaulay School for Boys in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And,
okay.
About halfway through, I guess that was February of 1985, they thought better of my presence there.
Right.
And invited
They
me.
felt that you were being held back and
they couldn't, it was not, it was definitely not the place for my interests.
Right. Let's go ahead and get into that because I know you were talking about it on Facebook this last week.
Yep.
You had an issue in the past and you handled it.
I buried myself in substance abuse, and at the age of 20, had a moment of clarity, if you will, and reached out and was offered some help. Right. And as a result of those that were willing to take some time with me, I have now been clean and sober for 31 years.
31 years?
Yep.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, the other options weren't particularly attractive.
No, they never are. Yeah. And obviously your family was hugely supportive of that, but it is a struggle that you work with every day of every hour of every day and fight it. And I mean, I love that you post something on Facebook and 50 people are jumping on it, going, "Great job, great job, great job." You have a lot of friends that are supporting you on that. So congratulations.
Yes, and I'm grateful for it because I couldn't do it without them.
Mm. So one of your loves that probably takes your mind off of the work and family and everything is photography.
Yes.
And so tell us about how you got into photography.
I'd say it probably started when I was, 13 or so, and I borrowed my mother and stepfather's camera. They had a big fancy thing, and I go wander through the woods. They had a place up in Sparta. Actually, the house itself sat in Galax, Virginia. The front yard was Sparta, North Carolina, so it was really up in the middle of nowhere. And one direction we could walk to the New River, the other direction to the Little River. Mm-hmm. And it was a great way to sort of get lost and shut out the noise of outside life. Right. And that has carried through. Being a broker for the last 24 years, the market has provided some stressful moments, and the camera has provided relief.
Well, when you can walk out of your office and be here at Lake Catherine.
Right. Swamp Catherine. Yes.
It's not. Is it even a swamp? I mean, it's grass, but I'm not walking out in there.
No. I mean, there's lots of. It was a man-made lake, and I think they let it fill back in to to restore what it was. And I think there's been some discussion to try to get it back to being a lake, but to get it there would be a Herculean task.
Right.
Yeah, but the camera definitely provided some relief. And back in 2009, I had joined Associated Artists, and I had a few prints there that I had done on canvas, and I was thinking, gosh, I'd like to do something a bit more interesting. And my wife finally said, would you, just shut up and actually do something? And
they're good like that, aren't they?
They are. Yeah. She was terrific motivation, and she has supported the cause. As a kid, actually not too long after my father passed away in 1985, I had received a copy of As a Man Thinketh, written by James Allen back in 1909.
Right.
And it became a text that I returned to after I had started to get my head and my heart right, and decided that I was going to do a coffee table version of that book because it hadn't been done in hardcover in forever, so it's out of copyright, and I was able to put it together and do it in hardcover, set to my photographs, and John F. Blair published it, and it was fun. It was a project that had paid for itself and then some. So from that standpoint, I thought it was a success, and it gave me the courage to kind of move forward. And now I do produce and sell my work in large format on metal, and I have photographs now hanging in various collections around the United States and in England.
How weird is that?
It is a little weird, but it's very satisfying.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, we probably need to take a break. So what we'll do is let's bring up your website where people can go and they can, I had it on my phone earlier, and we'll show you the website, give you the website address, and then you can click and see, and they can order prints if they want to, and things like that.
Sure.
And but we'll do that and take a quick break. And we good with that, Stabler? All right. So he'll bring that up, and we'll take a break. All right, we're back. Again, I'm John McPherson. Welcome back to Camel City Chat, and I'm here with Bo Gray. And we've been talking about everything from, where we're sitting here and the swamp over there to photography. And you were, we just showed some of the of your website and some of the pictures. Is there a thing that, obviously several pictures from the New River, which, as I told you, the second oldest river, and then of course you one-upped me, as I would expect, because you're always smarter than me, and you said it's what?
Oh, it's one of the very few rivers that flows north. Correct.
Hey, man, I'll tell you, so I didn't even know that. But yeah, it's always funny because what's the second oldest river in the world is the New River. So, and that's amazing. I don't know how they know that, but somebody.
Yeah, how do you document that?
I guess you go sediment on it or something. I don't know.
I always thought it was also really...
We should go figure that out.
Right,
Maybe that involves like a road trip and, I don't know, like buffalo wings eating competition or something. We go figure out
I've
why.
got just the spot.
All right, good. So what's your favorite, is that your favorite thing to take is outside, or do you like people?
I do like landscape. I do enjoy still life. I did do a bunch of street photography for several years. On the heels of Humans of New York.
My wife loves Humans in New York. I told her I was talking to you today, and she's and you did Humans of Winston-Salem.
Correct, and that was a joint project. I don't know if you know Cindy Hodnett.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
She and I would walk around and take pictures, and she would take notes, and it was a great way to sort of get reconnected with the city and really meet some pretty interesting and dynamic people.
So Cindy had the worst job ever, and that was having to work with all the realtors. So Cindy Hodnett, her part of her job was to call and go, all right, John, so what is this thing that you guys are doing this weekend? It's like, hold on, let me call somebody and get you the exact wording and stuff like that. So she had to do that, but a great lady.
Yes.
Yeah. So that ended, obviously, and you're still doing some other stuff, though, where you're going around and taking pictures of different things, because I know there's 3 or 4 websites that you have. You've got your main website, and then are you?
Well, the website is up. I am terrible about updating it.
No.
And I need a pro. The Facebook Pages platform makes it so easy.
Yep.
You know, because I can pop stuff up there, and I can pop stuff up for sale. You know, the platform is easy. And I know that you know there's some pushback against Facebook as a whole, just given the sharing of their personal data and things of that nature.
And then political this week. It's,
Right. So, but I mean, it makes it easy
Right.
and easy to share. And I've got 4,000 people that sort of follow me around on that. So
I've come to the point where I almost take. I mean, I have a specific URL, and I paint it to my. I point it to my Facebook page.
BowmanGray.com takes you to my Facebook page.
I mean,
and then the photography is the Bowman Gray photography.
Right. It's easier to do it that way than it is to do it others.
Correct.
So, what do you do
professionally?
Because I know you're not. I know we want to think that being the jet setter you are, since the hospital and the madhouse are named. Any other things named after you?
Oh well, we got the technical center over here on. It's at Northwest or part of it's the Reynolds research center, and there are a few other things laying around up at UNC or up at Woodbury Forest, and there's a section of woods up in Maine somewhere that was named for my father. You know, I mean, no, nothing that I've done has merited any distinction.
The Bowman Gray Fountain, right here. This is
right.
We'll name it right now.
Yeah, it's
but no, it is. It's got to be. We'll get to the work thing. Mm-hmm. It's got to be weird as all get out for that, because I know you. You're so you're down to earth. I mean, if people don't know your history, and we can talk about that, you realizing the ADD's coming out now, don't you? So we got to come back to work.
I've got it too.
Yeah.
So this is going to be great. It's going to be like a couple.
Hey, squirrel. So I mean, with the name, et cetera, and things like that, one misconception is that you're related to the Reynolds.
Correct.
And you're not.
No.
Okay.
No, that very close families, and I mean, families have sort of lived
it's like the neighbors,
parallel lives, and the fourth and fifth generation of Reynolds, we're friends.
Right.
But no, my great grandfather, Bowman Sr., was a teller at Wachovia Bank, working for his grandfather.
Right.
And RJ used to come in and make his deposits there on the corner at 3rd and Main.
Right.
And he hired my great grandfather as a salesman.
Right.
And so he carried the bag.
Yeah.
Selling
swept
tobacco,
the broom,
and was up in Baltimore and sold up there. And eventually, in 1925, RJ died in 1919.
Right.
And his brother Will took over the company. And in 1925, he hired my great grandfather to be the first man outside of the Reynolds family to run the company.
Right.
And then obviously, the things are sort of history from there. But,
right. And so. Brookberry is your uncle's?
It was my grandfather's farm.
Okay.
And actually, I lived out there.
So Brookberry, the subdivision, was
it was a family farm.
It was a family farm for many years. Beautiful path up to the big house and everything like that.
Yep. No, we lived there from 1978 until 1984.
All right. Now, have you been in the house?
Oh yes, of course. Some friends bought the house and the surrounding 11 acres.
Right.
And they did not update anything other than to air condition the place. Right. Very hot summers back in the day, but no, they air conditioned it. Aside from that, it's right now in the process, or may already be being put on the Register of Historic Places.
Right.
And then they're putting the surrounding land that they've acquired into a land trust, so that there will never be any further encroachment. But yeah, that's essentially, I tell people that's where I grew up, because those ages between 9 and 13 was where you sort of start to form who you are and start getting into trouble.
So freaking convenient too. I mean, it's you come right down and you're right there at the end of Country Club Road. And of course, I grew up in Clemens West, and we moved in '84 to the police trap on South Creek Parkway.
Right.
When you come down under Nottingham, right there on the right, that was our backyard.
That's funny. No, when we were out there, it was still considered way out in the country.
Yeah, but it wasn't that far.
We would, even when before Meadowlark School that was part of the farm.
Right.
And my friends were the kids who grew up around there, and we would ride our bikes we could still ride your bike down Meadowlark Drive without fear of ending up as someone's hood ornament.
I don't even like driving my car down Meadowlark Drive now.
And well, in the original stables, the Brookberry stables, which became Cozy Fox, that entrance was right there on the corner. Which, in the last 10 years, I don't think there was a more dangerous entrance to anywhere in the city. But we could ride down, to the gas station, and at that point in time, the gas station still sold bait. We could buy worms and some fishing gear, and we fished the ponds on the farm.
Right, because the ponds weren't added.
No, they were there going back. They were actually, I don't think that my grandfather built the lakes. I think they were there prior, because Brookberry was an attempt at sort of reestablishing a farm that had originally been there, because Meadowlark Drive used to be called Conrad Farm Road. Not Conrad Road, but Conrad Farm Road.
Right.
And the Conrads owned a bunch of that land out there.
Right. Now, Lyons is your uncle?
Correct.
And he was a congressman?
He was a state senator.
State senator, okay.
And was for a long time. He ran for Congress.
He ran against Steve Neal a couple times, I think.
He got in a primary. He ran against Big Stu Epperson.
Right.
And Stu won the primary.
Right.
But then Stu lost against Steve Neal.
Right.
Steve Neal. This was. I mean, he had as much of a lock on the 5th district as
80s,
Virginia Fox does
right.
now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I actually worked for Steve Neal as a turncoat. He took me, so they know my political party, but I mean, that doesn't mean who I'm going to vote for. Because I voted for Steve. I don't think it was when he was running against you guys. But I was an intern. He took me even though I wasn't in his political party or, that unknown. And I worked for him for about 3 weeks through a program called Washington Workshops.
Oh, wow.
And that was indoctrination, because, that was during the Silver Spring monkey trials. I got to sit in on those.
Oh, wow.
That was when Challenger
blew up.
I mean, all that kind of stuff, and got to sit in on some of those hearings, and it's just incredible how that, people just don't understand how, detail, we all think they don't do anything up there. I mean, it's work from when they wake up in the morning until they go to bed at night, 10 o'clock at night, they're still working.
Yep.
So, because you might call in the sense of a constituent and ask a question, they've got to get an answer from somebody. So, good staffs and stuff. Yeah. But so, all right, now we'll go back to that question. What do you do?
Oh, well, I'm a stockbroker.
Stockbroker, right?
I don't tell people that I'm. What are some of the more popular terms for this? Wealth management.
Wealth management, right?
I am a stockbroker.
Okay.
People give me their money, and I put it to work in the stock market.
Right.
And we do the best we can. I've been doing that since January of 1996, under the banner of larger brokerage houses up until 2008, when the firm that I was working for was bought out. And they offered me the opportunity to utilize their independent platform, in which case I created Brightleaf Asset Management, which is located right here in Reynolda Village. And I've been Brightleaf Asset Management since 2008.
So are you by yourself, or do you have a team? Or
well, no, I'm by myself here, but my support staff is all based out of St. Louis, and there's a team of 12 people that deal with me. But the firm through which I clear. It's, I think, the 10th largest firm in the country. So I've got access to all of the trading desks and the research and all that kind of stuff, but I don't have a person standing me over my shoulder saying, here's what you're showing people today.
So, or this is what we need to buy. We need to sell some of this. We need to sell some of this.
Right. This thing's a pig. Get it
I give
out the
advice.
door. Right.
Yeah. Here's an annuity. Push an annuity this way.
No. Run away.
Yeah. So, interesting that you're here, because are you the only money manager, wealth management, stockbroker in Reynolda Village?
No. Tim Baker runs a great shop, and he's got a thing down the hill.
And I didn't know that. And here's the reason why I asked that, is because an upcoming guest is going to be someone that used to be in Reynolda Village.
Really?
It's written a book about the history of Winston-Salem. And when I tell you who, you're not going to believe me.
Okay.
Gene Hoots.
Really?
Charles Hoots' father.
Yeah.
So Gene formed Cornerstone Capital here.
Right, okay.
Their own, is a wealth management company. It also has, Corner Cap is a, what do you call it, a mutual fund. And they, because he lived right behind Staley's when they moved out from Clemens out on Arbor.
Right.
They moved in here, and Gene was the guy that invested. Originally, he was the guy that invested the federal taxes due. No, he invested the Reynolds employment profit sharing plan or whatever. So there's $5 in that maybe, but so that's how he got started, and so that how cool is that someone we went to school with, dad was in here, and now you're in here.
Right.
And you do a great job, I'm sure.
Oh, I had anybody haven't called and get mad at me in
this
a while.
Week,
so right. No, people wave at me with all 5 fingers.
Okay.
So yes.
Yeah. You're not when they say you're number one, it's this finger.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. You occasionally get that. But so obviously I can't ask you any stock questions because then you're going to have to run that number across the bottom and the 12 things and all that kind of stuff.
I cannot offer blanket advice.
Buy and hold would be the only advice I
if I ran a hedge
give.
fund, I could badmouth any number of company and you name it, right?
Well, I can ask you some stocks a question here. How's this? And I got a couple of them here. I got some controversial questions that we could ask here. All right. So we have an election coming up. Do you feel as though either candidate getting elected is going to greatly affect the stock market?
Not particularly.
It doesn't seem like it's going to, does it?
Money finds a way.
Right.
It finds the cracks, and as long the market reacts fine, as long as it understands the rules in which it needs to operate.
Okay. Do you feel that when we hear the word COVID, what do you call it, antibodies or COVID shot or something like that, is that the company that if we can buy as quickly as we can at the lowest number possible? It's going to be interesting, isn't it?
It is. I don't know that given these circumstances, any one company is going to be granted a blanket patent.
It is interesting to me, though, that one bailed and then 2 more then have suddenly, I guess, had some similar things.
Well, and that's normal.
Yeah.
I should say this is obviously coming under much greater scrutiny, and obviously there is a desire to shorten the timeline. I think that we need to proceed quickly, but proceed cautiously, and that expect failure. That's how we reach success. And any great success out there, be it a personal story or be it a product or a drug or whatever, it became a great success after having failed multiple times along the way. So the more failures we see, the more quickly we are going to get to a success.
Ivory soap. Somebody fell asleep supposedly or whatever, whipped air into it, and it became success,
Right.
Or whatever the different, what is it, the guy from the Monkees' mom invented, the great thing is we live in such a wonderful country that it's going to be discovered. I just hope sooner than later.
Yes, I agree.
So then I think we probably need to take a break, right? Let's show one of the other websites. So we did the photography one. So which one you want to do next?
Probably the Facebook.
Right, just show us Facebook.
Yeah, it's I'm not really sure what the link is. I think
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We
You'll
do
find
that for
it
you.
All right.
That's why
Not
Stabler's
my
here.
personal one, please.
Yes. Well, there's a good picture of you in the gram, baby. All right, we're gonna be right back. More with Bo Gray. Thanks. Welcome back to Camel City Chat, and we are recording this around lunchtime, and we both looked at each other and said, "You want to go get some? What is it?
The Thai chicken salad over at Village Tavern.
The old Village Tavern. You can't call it.
No,
anything.
that place. There is moments throughout my history can be marked with having lunches with various people over the last 35 years.
Second date was at the Village Tavern with my wife.
Was it really?
Yeah, I did one of those mystery shops, and I had each order specific things, and I mean we were just stuffed, but still had to get a dessert. I asked her, I said, "Could you go in the bathroom and tell me what it looks like? Because I got to go in the men's bathroom." And that was our second date. She still tells everybody, she goes, "He's an idiot," but hey, it's a free meal. And then the other thing is my class was Michelle, and now it's what was it? It was the little sandwich shop, but now it's the crepe place.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it was simply yummy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that was when I first moved my office in here. I would stop in there every morning, get coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great place. Yeah. So, it's funny. We're both like, I'm hungry. Let's go get some Village Tavern.
Yeah,
Didn't even say it earlier, which is.
Well, it's just a natural. It's right there.
Yeah. It's. So we've talked about so many things. One thing is I try not to surprise you with things, but I don't ever want to offend anybody and ask questions about that's why I made sure that it was okay to ask one thing. But the other thing I wanted to ask you about, and you're okay with this, is your great grandfather was a teller at Wachovia, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he grows up and becomes president of Wachovia Bank. Or was it great grandfather?
Great grandfather. Oh yes, James Gray Sr. Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So he's and he is now, and the Bowman Gray comes from him, the Gray, his middle name, and his wife's.
Right. James Gray Sr. married Mary Aurelia Bowman, who was the daughter of Wyatt Fletcher Bowman, and Wyatt Fletcher was actually one of the founders of the bank.
Right. So founder of the bank. Then his son is now president of it. It's acquired through some different things, and now they've moved out of town. They still got some presence here, but so what? Right. It's been a week now. The building school of medicine named after your great grandfather, right?
Yes.
Is acquired by Apria. Well, what's going on with that? I mean, I'm concerned. Are we going to lose?
It's gone through some changes. I mean, what was it in 1998? There was the change. The name change from the Bowman Gray School of Medicine to the Wake Forest University School of Medicine.
Bowman Gray campus, right? Or something.
There was a need to create the uniformity between Wake Forest University and the medical school. There was some. It wasn't particularly clear what was what belonged to whom, and they named the campus after him. Then, of course, subsequently, since they opened up the facility downtown, that's the Bowman Gray Center for Medical Education.
Right.
The only constant is change. And, as I understand the vision is that there is going to be essentially a corridor to healthcare created between Winston-Salem and Charlotte with this new medical school being built in Charlotte, Wake Forest Medical School. But I've been given every reassurance, and I have complete faith in Wake Forest leadership. They have said that the medical school, is here. It is going to remain here. It's not going anywhere. There will be obviously, various things moving back and forth between Charlotte and Winston-Salem. Dr. Freischlag is going to remain here in Winston-Salem. So there's, I see this as just the next logical step. Charlotte is the only major city in and around us that does not have a medical school. So the fact that it's going to be a Wake Forest medical school, I think, is outstanding. Mm-hmm. And as population grows and things change, like I said, this is going to be a corridor between Winston-Salem and Charlotte, and I am excited to see what that brings. And this model being that this is a healthcare company that's funding it, this is something rather new. But I think that it makes sense. What I hear on the ground, so to speak, from my friends that are physicians, that Wake Forest is already seeing some of the benefits of that, and as far as negotiating, prices for supplies and access to various things. So I think it's going to make a tremendous amount of sense. I think it's going to be a great thing for Winston-Salem, and it'll certainly be a great thing for Charlotte.
I'm glad to hear that. I've always been. And the mayor and I've talked about this, and it's like the big feather in the cap or things like that when BB&T left or moved their headquarters, because they're still here and some wonderful people are still here. But it's what's interesting to me is I feel as though Winston-Salem needs to have. I want to be almost like an incubator and get a whole bunch of small, medium, occasionally the large. But it just seems like Charlotte has really poached us some.
Yes.
I don't. I love it here. That's why I do this thing here. Yeah. I mean, and you love it here.
No, I do. Now, I was thrilled to come home. In fact, when I came back to Winston-Salem in 2005, it had been after 2 years of bouncing back and forth. Initially, I had looked at getting an apartment in the Nissen building, but long story made even longer, my daughter decided to go to Wake Forest, and that gave us the reason to move back home. But I had been working with startup companies, particularly in the med tech space, raising private equity for these startups, and had brought the corporate finance people from the firm that I worked with at the time down here to meet with, at that time, Spencer Lemons and Richard Dean, and what was happening in the research park and the build outs there. We were trying to create a true avenue of funding from venture angel investing, venture funds, mezzanine financing, and then onto the venture and potential acquisition and or IPO. At any rate, this was the hotbed of that, and these guys that had had histories with much larger firms looked at what we had going on here and thought it would be a good idea to have an office here, so they allowed me to open one. And things changed once we were acquired. But you're right, this has been an incubator. We have built big companies, and the interesting thing, particularly about Reynolds, is this would be the third time that R.J. Reynolds Tobacco has been acquired. And I can't help but think that down the road, and I'm purely speculating here, don't make any investing decisions off this, but that it's possible that British American might end up spinning Reynolds back out again. It seems to go through these changes.
Because you and I were around in the Nabisco. I mean, that was big stuff when we were in high school and stuff.
Oh sure, yeah. The Barbarians at the Gate, and in fact, it was under RJ's leadership that it was originally acquired by the American Tobacco Trust.
Right.
And then, of course, once that was split up by antitrust laws, that's when Mr. Reynolds just went to town and made things happen. And he bought up everything else that was around here and built Reynolds into what it was today. And it's gone through changes, and I suspect it'll go through changes again. What Reynolds looks like. I mean, with the, for example, the Kentucky Bioprocessing, which is working on various vaccines using the tobacco plant, and the facility in Tobaccoville has dedicated a tremendous amount of space towards the vapor business, and I can't help but think that that is going to end up looking a bit more like a med tech kind of thing as we move down the road to the potential legalization of marijuana, particularly in the medicinal space, when you have delivery for things such as, they obviously strip out the cannabinoids, and they can do things like, help treat kids with epilepsy and things of that nature. Again, this is speculation on my part, but it seems to make sense.
And what about a vaccine thing too?
Oh, sure.
I mean, what a wonderful delivery method of just a vaping of a
correct.
Of that.
Correct. Yeah. So in there, I mean, the tobacco plant's a powerful plant. Obviously, we know this, and obviously, smoking itself is, probably on the decline. And I mean, obviously, we obviously look at the use of recreational tobacco products in a very different way now than we used to. So, but yeah, Winston-Salem's growing them. We're losing them to Charlotte. I mean, BB&T was obviously that was too bad, but we have a history of building some great companies. Piedmont Airlines is now part of it's Delta. Right? Is it American?
I think Piedmont Airlines would be U.S. Air, and then I don't know.
U.S. Yeah, right. It's but the point is that things were grown here. So
I think it's American.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is American.
Because the other one is that one merged with Delta, and it's
Northwest
Continental merged with Delta. So yeah, it's U.S. Airways.
Right,
and with American.
And between and we got Haynes back.
Yep.
And I think that. They found me.
Yeah. Yeah, they did.
The Coonhounds got me after all these years.
Yeah. So, but so I think we got a minute or two left before we take our last break, and then we'll come back for just a little bit more to sum it up. But so, favorite historical thing about here, because we were talking about what's your favorite historical fact about Winston-Salem that you because I know you love history.
Oh, there are many.
And you can do one, and then we'll take a break and come back. So,
but I think that the one that stands out, that's most notable and enduring, is the fact that the Reynolds Building was the prototype for the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
And that there is a Happy Father's Day card that hangs on the wall that the management at the Empire State Building sent to the management of the Reynolds Building back in the day. We have a lot of sort of interesting firsts here.
Right.
And that's certainly one of the more notable.
And interesting for that, there's also they did a building on the lake in Cleveland, I think it was. It was part of that same 1929 design that they moved.
The curtain wall construction.
Yep. But I don't think they get the Father's Day card. I don't. It's kind of weird. I think it's the Reynolds Tower is seen as
when they did it up there, they would just jump up and down and said, "Me too. We want one too."
Yeah,
but we
kind of like those
we
people.
were first.
It's interesting. It's the Ohio folks there. You notice that the first in flight thing. Now they're saying flight started here or whatever. We're going to take a quick break. We'll show you a couple of your photos here, and then come back and finish up with a few more questions. So we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. It's our last segment with Bo, and we've been talking about so many cool things. And I want to. Do you have any more history things? If you don't,
Well, I guess it's a corporate history. I mean, Winston-Salem's been the birthplace to so many companies that have merged. Obviously Wells Fargo now, and the airlines and the tobacco business, and there's just. We have an intriguing history that I think people would be surprised that things were started here. And as far as cultural stuff, I think that it's important that people realize that we're known for more than just our cigarettes and donuts.
True. Hey, don't forget hot sauce, man.
That's right. I do like the hot sauce.
The other day, and I said I need some Texas Pete, and the lady goes, "Oh, I'll get you some hot sauce," and she comes back with something. I go, That's
not Texas
I didn't
Pete.
ask for hot sauce. I asked for Texas Pete.
Right.
So remember that, Garner family. Yeah, you get me in with them. I need to get them on here. But it's interesting to me because you and I had a really nice chat, and it's going to air before this, but I'm actually recording it tonight, and that is Catherine White.
Oh,
so
wonderful, yes.
I did tell her what you said. She was like, "Oh, he is so nice," but. You are. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care, and you must know a lot because you sure care a lot. You basically. I'm thinking about starting a new political party called the Kindness Party or something like that. I mean, it just
we could use that.
Yeah, I don't know if there's one out there, but if there isn't, it's going to be before we air this. I'm going to put it out there. But it just seems as though you really care about people in all walks of life, and you give back so much. So. For someone that may be watching this for the first time, learning about Winston-Salem, what are the charities that you've been involved with in your time here, and how do people get involved and give back? Because it doesn't have to be money.
No. Time is even more valuable than treasure. Yeah. No question about it. The local charities I've been involved with was, Partnership for Drug-Free North Carolina. That's always been very important to me, given that, when I needed help, I was very fortunate. It was a phone call, and I was able to get into a place, and we were fortunate enough to be able to take care of what it was. But I think it's imperative that those that don't have the same sort of resources that I was so lucky to have, that when they want help, that it's there for them, and that the financial part is not what stops them from getting better.
Right.
The Partnership for Drug-Free North Carolina, I was also on the Prodigals Board for a time. But Pete and my Triad Film Commission. I was down on the board of Montford Hall down in Asheville. What am I doing now?
New Winston Museum.
New Winston Museum.
Sika.
There's so much that is so important. I mean, all of these outfits add not only services but texture to our community, and they all are in constant need of support. And if you want to get involved, just make the phone call. Pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm interested in being involved. Who do I talk to?" And they'll point you in the proper direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting to me how, as I've talked to each guest, someone has a love, and they really they really are passionate about that. I mean, as you said to me, where else am I going to be? I mean, this is close to my office. I love sitting here. We love talking. We're down near the boathouse, so you come down the stairs here, and the the Bowman Gray, the fourth water fountain.
Yeah, I need to get this fixed. I really do.
Yeah, really. You get. I dusted the leaves off. A couple have fallen, but you know, it's just a beautiful place. I mean, just even here, you've got you know, the gardens, which is separate from the house. I know that because we had John on. So you know, so Gardens is an organization that you can be involved in. The house, you know, docents, et cetera, and stuff like that. And then you know, all the stuff with regards to just helping others out. And it's I really like the hand up, not the handout type of stuff where people really work together. So you know where we are because you've been here a long time. Where do you want to see Winston go?
Oh boy, that's a great question. I think if it can continue on this path, we've really been on the leading edge of these smaller southern cities that have had to reinvent themselves. And fortunately, we've had such an incredible group of leaders. You know, whether it's, you know, I'm a big fan of our mayor. Big fan of our mayor. He's just a hell of a nice guy, on top of which he's got a terrific vision. You know, and he's backed up by some really terrific people. You know, I mean, take guys like Don Flo.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, they're putting you know, some serious effort into you know, the vision that guys like Phil Haynes, you know, had for the city, and talking about the future of our economy is going to be about design and innovation. And you know, we've really, you know, gone past the point of success towards what that's going to look like. I mean, with the biotech place and the new businesses that have actually shown up here. And I think that if we can continue on that trajectory, I don't know that I'd want to try to snap on anything new, but to, you know, continue on that trajectory and continue to exploit those resources that we have, like SECA, you know, or you know, the Delta Center for Fine Arts, or you know, Salem College, which is the oldest women's college in the United States, in Old Salem, which is the second oldest restored community in the country behind Williamsburg, and apparently historically more accurate. The academics will be sure to tell you that.
Yeah. All right.
So I think that where do I want to see Winston-Salem go? I want to see it continue on its current path.
There's been a lot of stuff that's been laid out. I mean, because, you know, like I said, you and I have you know, similar time periods here. You know, we delivered books and magazines and would drop them off at the Reynolds Tower. There were 2 stops downtown Winston-Salem when we were in high school. The adult sophisticate shop there that was on Liberty Street near that, and we'd drop off magazines there. And the other one was News and Novels over in the house out on the outskirts. And come 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you weren't downtown Winston-Salem at all. And now it's like what like you're saying, 3 o'clock in the morning, you could be coming out and there are people just enjoying themselves, having a good time.
Oh, I was so blown away. Before we moved back, we had dinner with Liz and Stu at the Mellow Mushroom on a Thursday night or something, and I was shocked by the number of people downtown, and I was thrilled to see what was going, particularly with Trade Street. I tell folks that when I left Winston-Salem in 1987 that, you know, if you were down on Trade Street on a Saturday night in the evening, you may not necessarily have been looking for trouble, but it was going to find you.
What's the Bernie Mac line from Booty Call? Ain't nobody here but the devil.
That's right.
This is about being up at 3 a.m. Nobody's up at 3 a.m. but the devil. So if you're down on Trade Street, you were looking for somebody you shouldn't have been looking for.
And now, nowadays, I mean, I love Trade Street.
Oh,
man. The gallery I was part of, unfortunately, closed during the COVID situation. But you know, the restaurants and the galleries and the retail that's all so unique. It's fantastic. Piedmont Craftsman and
we got a Mass General store. I mean,
I do all my Christmas shopping in Mass General, no doubt.
Yep. It's like, what's going on here? You know?
Right.
But I always kidded around and said there was a couple things I want to do, and I'm trying to wear Dragosic out here over at. I want to swim in the pool. I want to swim in the pool, and they goes, John, we got the perfect thing. It's coming up, and I'm like, I'm out of town. Just let me come swim in the pool one day. And the other is to go to the top of the Reynolds Tower and stuff like that. I mean, you know, just I want to go with I want to go see Texas Pete Made because I love it. So I mean, this is, you know. Have you ever been out to the quarry, the rock quarry?
The one that turned into the park?
Vulcan, the one that's out over near Tracy Meyer's place, the Vulcan rock quarry out there. You go out there and look, you can see Walkertown. When you look down into the quarry, the little people movers that they build the Caterpillar tires for, they're like this big. They're so far away.
Oh wow! No,
Yeah.
I have not seen that one. I mean, obviously the one they turned into the park.
Yeah, that was
Actually,
beautiful.
I telling myself they made the announcement about the place before they'd done any work. I snuck in there and walked down to the water's edge where the road leads into the water from where it would circle the. And it was one of those cases that best to ask forgiveness instead of permission.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
and great architectural landscape photos there.
Oh boy,
the wires and stuff like that. All right, so here we go. We got one more question for you.
All right.
I hate this question, but it's truly something that because I don't ever want to think about this, but what do you want to be remembered for when the time comes?
If there was something for me to feel like I was a success here, I think that I would want to be remembered for having been a good father, a good husband, and a good son.
Well, when we were talking earlier, I told you. I mean, I know you lost your dad when we were in high school, and you ain't got to worry about that, buddy. I know he's proud of you. I mean, look how far you've come with a grandbaby now, and this giving back so much to your community and stuff. And I'm honored that like I said, I hadn't seen you in however many. I don't want to really rehash how many years it's been, but I haven't seen you in forever, and hug and catch right back up, and I'm sure there'll be many more phone calls after this. And
well, I hope so.
Yeah, well, this is why I did this, is because I love our city and I want to see people and learn more about it and share it with others out there. So
well, this is a great thing you're doing. I've watched some of your interviews, and I think it's important. Winston-Salem is the biggest small town in America.
Amen.
And if we don't know each other, we know of each other.
Right.
And I think it's important that we truly get to know each other on a more personal level, because I mean, the more we know about each other, the more we can accomplish, I think.
Yeah. I mean, and you've been a great guest. I always love it when I didn't even know who Owens Daniels was.
Oh, that dude's amazing.
And then
Truly.
I have him on, and then you interview people that you just know and like, and it's like I love Tommy Priest. I have him on.
Yes.
It's like I got 20 subscribers because of Tommy. I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, he's kind of prolific, so
He's
that
cool.
was a good source, no doubt.
So I'm sure he'll be pleased you're sitting in that Appalachian chair too. All right, folks, this has been another episode of Camel City Chat. Our guest has been Bowman Gray IV, a great guy. You can go and find Bo's work on the different websites we shared with you, and if you bump into him, tell him hey, and know that he loves this city just as much as everybody else out there. We'll be back next week with more Camel City Chat. Make sure to I think I got to do this, subscribe, follow us, and all those things so that we can continue to get more viewers and more guests. All the best. We'll see you soon.